All right, let's jump right in. Today we're tackling one of the biggest, if not the biggest, roadblocks for AI in the professional world: trust. I mean, how do you build an AI that isn't just clever, but is actually provably correct? Let's get into it.
So let's start with a really simple question. Imagine you're a lawyer, or you work in finance or compliance. Millions of dollars, maybe even your company's whole reputation, is riding on a decision. Can you really trust your AI assistant to be right? Not just mostly right, but 100% right. The stakes are just incredibly high.
And this is the core of the issue. We've all heard about AI hallucinations, right? It's when a system just confidently makes things up. Facts, sources, you name it. Now, if you're just playing around, that might be a quirky, even funny little feature. But in a professional world, it's a catastrophic failure. It just shatters trust and opens the door to massive, unacceptable risk.
So, what's the answer? Well, today we're looking at a completely different way of thinking about this. A system that's been designed from the ground up with a whole new philosophy. It's an evidence-first AI.
It's called Near-Perfect RAG, or NPR. Now, what's so fascinating about this is its fundamental promise. It is built from its very core to answer questions only from the documents you give it. That's it. It has to cite its evidence, and this part is absolutely critical. If the answer isn't in those documents, it just says, "I don't know." It doesn't guess.
And here's the one-sentence explanation for why it's so accurate. It's not about having a fancier, more creative AI. It's about a rigid, disciplined process. It actually understands the structure of a document and enforces a super strict evidence or nothing rule for every single answer. This is a real game changer. Okay, so how does it actually pull this off? Well, it all starts with how it reads a document in the first place. See, it doesn't just see a giant wall of text, it sees a blueprint. So how does it build that blueprint? It's all about this incredibly meticulous ingestion process. The system goes through everything page by page, which is huge because it means context is never broken. It identifies all the sections, it pulls out tables and figures as their own separate things, and then it builds a kind of map, a graph, that links it all together. This is the secret to preserving a document's original intelligence.
And this comparison just illustrates the difference perfectly. Think about it this way. A typical AI system basically sees a document as a pile of shredded paper, just a bunch of flat, disconnected chunks of text. NPR, on the other hand, it creates a librarian's index. It knows exactly where everything is, how it all relates, and what it is, whether it's a table, a caption, or the conclusion.
So, once you have that incredibly solid foundation, the system can go way beyond just searching for keywords. It can start delivering answers with actual provable certainty.
This structure unlocks 4 really powerful abilities. 1, every single answer is grounded in hard evidence. 2, you get professional-grade traceability. You can literally click a citation and see the exact source, which is perfect for any kind of audit. It's also great at handling ambiguous or messy questions and, maybe most importantly, it can spot when different sources conflict with each other, like an old policy versus a new one.
All right, let's really put these two approaches head to head. You'll see pretty quickly why these design choices make such a huge difference in the real world.
I mean, at the end of the day, what does this all mean for someone actually using the system? What's the real, practical, day-to-day difference here?
Well, this table really says it all. Typical RAG, it's using those flat, disconnected chunks. NPR, it's using a structured graph. The typical system hallucinates when it's unsure. NPR, it just abstains. It refuses to guess. A typical system gets confused by conflicting info. NPR is literally designed to flag it. And auditing, forget about it with a typical AI. With NPR, you get full traceability every single time.
And all of this really points to a new, fundamental rule for any AI that's going to be used in a professional setting. It's not enough to sound smart. The new standard has to be prove it.
This is the philosophy behind it all. And it's a big deal. Structure is more important than just understanding the words. A predictable, deterministic process is way better than a probabilistic guess. And provable evidence will always beat a well-written but potentially made-up answer. The idea is that intelligence is an option, but risk should never be mandatory.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just reframes this whole thing perfectly. It says that NPR is not a chatbot with some retrieval feature bolted on as an afterthought. No, it is a document understanding system first and foremost that just happens to use a large language model at the very end to stitch the proven facts into a clear answer.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. If we can now build AI that can prove every single answer it gives you, where should we demand this level of integrity first? In our legal system? In medicine? And finance? The possibilities are pretty profound, and the need is definitely urgent. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.